This is your News Source Evening Bulletin for today, Monday, the 12th day of November in the year 2018. Here's what we're tracking tonight. Polling stations all across the country are now closed, and the counting process has started in what has been described as local government elections with a below than expected turnout. When polls opened at 6 o'clock this morning, persons trickled into the polling stations. Most polling stations did not see any long lines, and persons were able to cast their ballots within minutes. This morning, Prime Minister Moses Nagamutu voted at the National Aquatic Center alongside his wife. He expressed some concern about reports of voter intimidation in some parts of the Berbice area, but said based on what he has seen across the country, the process was slow but steady.
There is one particular area I received also a complaint that not only is there a steady turnout of voters in one area. There you have turnout of PPP picketers who obviously didn't have the picket today, but they are in several parts in close vicinity to polling stations, and that is evident in the Wim Bloomfield area, where I thought attempts have been made to intimidate people to come out to meetings by a dozen-person professional picketers, staging these pickets just for the photo op. The more ridiculous one last evening, where there was a huge banner saying Moses Nagamutu is no longer welcome in Wim, my birth village.
Senior officials of the APNU, Ministers Valda Lawrence and Amna Ali, both appeared concerned with the slow start to the elections, but said they are still confident of the APNU doing well in the polls.
I found the officers to be very courteous. Their explanation of the process to me was very clear, and I voted like a boss for APNU.
We haven't had local government elections for 22 years, and under David Granger and the APNU, we fought tirelessly for these local government elections. Here we have them now. As soon as the APNU-AFC entered government in 2016, after the 22 years we had elections. This is the second one since we are in government, and we are hoping that all Guyana will understand the importance of the local government elections.
Opposition leader Barra Jagdeo said his party and its supporters will be paying attention to the vote count. He voted today at the St. John's College.
We have asked the people or our leaders in those areas to pay particular attention to those boxes when we see the results, to see if they depart from national averages, where we don't, the 1% of the polling places across Ghana, the over 1,700 polling places where we have had problems with our polling agents this morning.
Another former president, Donald Dramatar, was also out early to cast his vote in the local elections.
So I think apart from the fact that it's your right to vote, I think in my view, there's a responsibility to vote, because you have a responsibility to your community, you live in your community. Sometimes the community provides services and so forth for you, so it's important for people to vote, I think.
Outside of the major parties, a number of independent candidates took part in today's elections. The Ghana Elections Commission has said that preliminary results could become available as early as 8 o'clock tonight. Elections were held in 80 local authority areas today. More than 1,600 polling stations were set up to accommodate the more than 500,000 persons on the voters list, many of whom did not show up to vote. More news coming up in a moment.
This Christmas, get a loan for your dream car with an extended repayment term. Spruce up your home with that renovation you always wanted and take advantage of low or no down payment. Get new appliances so you can cook up a storm. You'll get same-day approval. Plus, you can win a getaway to a destination of your choice. Visit RepublicGuyana.com today to find out how.
Republic Bank. We're the one for you. ride it, ride it. Ready to ride it, ride it, ride it, ride it, ride it, ride the wave. Open up the new vibe, drink up the boldness inside. Radical and fresh and wild, catch the wave now. Ride bold, ride fresh, ride strong, come on, ride the wave. Taste the action, satisfaction, perfection. Wave, 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 wave,
Ride the new wave of excitement sweeping Guyana. Wave Pale Ale, a premium, full-bodied, strong and refreshing alcoholic brew, crafted to perfection for a bold, young, radical you. Don't settle for anything less. Catch a Wave Pale Ale and ride it today.
Wave Pale Ale.
Crafted to perfection.
Welcome back. President David Granger missed today's local government elections as he is still in Cuba, receiving medical care over an undisclosed illness. The president was expected back in Guyana yesterday, but reports now state that it could take another week before he returns. He had traveled to Cuba for a medical investigation following the advice of his personal doctor in Trinidad and Tobago. The president's office has been tight-lipped on his medical condition, but has said that it will provide more information once the diagnosis becomes clearer. However, news source understands that the president underwent a surgical procedure in Cuba to tackle his health concerns, and that was one of the reasons behind his doctor's decision not to allow him to fly back home at this time. Sources close to his office said he is expected to make a complete recovery, but might have to take a bit of rest before rushing back to work. The president is in Cuba along with his wife. They have been there for the past 2 weeks. Let's tell you now that Flying Jamaica Airways says it is still too early to offer comment on the cause of Friday's crash at the Cheddi Jagan Airport of its Boeing 757 aircraft following that emergency landing. Directors of the airline have all flown into Guyana and have been hosting a series of meetings. In a statement on Sunday, the airline said its main focus right now is assisting those affected passengers who need to get home to Canada. All the passengers are now facing delays with their flights with the airline. Fly Jamaica has offered thanks to the various agencies and emergency services that assisted following the crash at the airport. It is also showering praises on the captain and crew of the flight for safely evacuating the 120 passengers who were on board. The Fly Jamaica plane was heading to Canada from Guyana when less than 30 minutes into the flight, the captain announced that he would be heading back to Guyana because of an issue with the plane's hydraulic system. He was able to land the aircraft, but the hydraulics problem resulted in him not being able to slow the plane down on landing. He was forced to utilize the extended runway before turning off into a huge buildup of sand, and that brought the plane to a stop. The Guyana Civil Aviation Authority is leading the probe. The airline has said it is offering full assistance and cooperation to the investigators. Meanwhile, a number of firefighters who were part of the first responders team to the accident site are expected in court tomorrow to face various charges. The firefighters are accused of removing several personal items for passengers after they assisted evacuating those passengers. Some of the items have since been recovered, and an embarrassed Guyana Fire Service has offered an apology while handing over all the suspects to the police investigators. Some passengers have reported that their carry-on bags were found opened and jewelry, money and other valuables were missing. Even the captain of the crash plane complained that a number of his personal items were stolen from the cockpit. On the police blotter right now, the body of a 23-year-old gold miner was found yesterday morning along the Peruni Trail in Region 7 with a suspected gunshot wound to the chest. The man has been identified as Javi Boyal of Maruca Northwest District. Persons in the area said they heard loud gunshots around 3:45 on Sunday morning, and when they looked out they saw a man collapsing, but they did not venture outside until sunrise. It's unclear what may have triggered the shooting death, but police investigators suspect a known individual in the same community may have been behind the murder. The suspect is someone who has been accused in the past of various gun-related offenses and is currently before the courts. Residents in the same Peruni community believe that the man may have been shot from a vehicle that was also discovered along the trail with its windscreen shattered and bloodstains. Police from Bartica are leading the investigations. Residents of the Peruni community have been calling for a permanent police presence in the community because many gold miners travel through the community and have found themselves being attacked for their gold. They want a police outpost to be established in the community. And finally tonight, on Saturday, the Guyana Police Force and the Customs Anti-Narcotics Unit joined forces and destroyed more than 950 pounds of cocaine and over 1,000 pounds of marijuana. The illegal drugs were seized by the two agencies during various operations. On Saturday, the two agencies moved on to heavy security to a location along the Linden-Suslike Highway, where they set fire to the illegal drugs. A total of 132 kilograms of cocaine and 440 kilograms of cannabis were destroyed by the police, while 345 kilograms of cocaine and 554 kilograms of cannabis were destroyed by KANU. The two agencies estimated that in total the destroyed drugs carried a combined street value of more than 500 million Guyana dollars. And that's your News Source Evening Bulletin for tonight. I'm Gordon Mosley reporting.